I want to go on the scene now to the White House, where President Donald Trump met with El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele today. That came as a Maryland man sits in an El Salvador prison after the Trump administration admitted to deporting him by mistake. Our Scripps News White House reporter and producer Jacob Garden-Schwartz is live outside the White House right now. Jacob, what were the main takeaways from President Bukele's visit?
Yeah, good afternoon, Nate. A whole host of issues discussed, but of course, that deportation of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, a key focus of the conversation. And the real takeaway, neither U.S. nor Salvadoran officials showing any interest or desire to bring him back to the United States. That's, of course, despite an order from the Supreme Court mandating that the United States help at least facilitate his return to this country. You'll recall that he was deported over a previous court issuing a stay of deportation, essentially ruling that he could not be sent back to El Salvador, but that is exactly what the Trump administration did. So we heard officials pressed multiple times in the meeting about that, about various court orders, but officials within the U.S. government and the El Salvador's president suggesting that that's just not going to happen. Take a listen to what they had to say.
He was illegally in our country. He had been illegally in our country. And in 2019, two courts, an immigration court and an appellate immigration court, ruled that he was a member of MS-13 and he was illegally in our country. Right now, it was additional paperwork had needed to be done. That's up to El Salvador. If they want to return him, that's not up to us.
How can I return him to the United States? Like, I smuggle him into the United States, or what do I do? Of course, I'm not going to do it. It's like, the question is preposterous. How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
So you see sort of some finger pointing there on both sides. The United States saying they have no power to force El Salvador to return him. El Salvador saying they don't have the power to return him. And in the meantime, this man who, according to a court order, was not allowed to be sent to that country is there. We understand, at least as of last week, he is still alive, according to a filing that the government provided to the court. But it's worth noting, his attorneys, his lawyers maintain that he has no gang ties. It is true that a previous immigration judge did rule that he was not eligible for asylum, but sort of the degree to which he is involved in any sort of gang activity remains an open question. And what the administration is saying about the Supreme Court's order is just not entirely accurate. The court did order that the U.S. government help, quote, facilitate his return to the United States, sending the issue back to a lower judge to sort of help coordinate exactly how that happens. And we should note that we've seen somewhat of a reversal or a discrepancy between what administration officials are saying in public and on camera and what they're saying in court filings and in the courtroom. Earlier today, we heard from Stephen Miller, a top White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy, sort of suggesting that there was no mistake when they sent him to El Salvador. We should know at least 3 separate times the administration, different officials in the administration, have said that he was sent either in error, as an oversight. The Department of Justice official who argued the case before the lower courts, admitting that in court sort of on the record publicly, he ultimately was placed on administrative leave because he, sided with the previous filings in this case. Nate?